I believe, in this I now differ from President Arafat. I believe the Palestinians cannot liberate their country themselves. That only when there is change in the Arab world can we see a change in the miserable situation of the Arabs and of the Palestinians. The contest is unequal. The Palestinians are not broken. What I said when I left Gaza, I meant. I said, if the Israelis or anybody else thinks that by siege and bombardment they can break the will of the Palestinian people to resist, they are wrong. The resistance is not broken in Gaza. It will never be broken as long as a single Palestinian remains alive on the land. It will never be broken. It will never be broken. Now lastly, what do we want? Well, there are two options. We can have a Palestinian state on the West Bank and Gaza. If we divide Jerusalem and make half of it the Palestinian capital, if we build a flyover or a tunnel to link the West Bank and Gaza together, but it will have to have an Arab border, it will have to be contiguous, there will have to be no Zionist settlements in the Palestinian entity, there will have to be international guarantees of the land and the air and the sea. We can have that, but only if the right of every Palestinian refugee to return to their land is respected. But I have a better idea. Why don't we have one state from the river to the sea, where every Jew, every Muslim, and every Christian can live as equal citizens under the law, democratically electing one government, one country? Why not? People say this is unrealistic. But the two-state solution is just as unrealistic. The settlements, the wall, the ethnic cleansing, Gaza, the election of Netanyahu and Lieberman, all of these things make Oslo a dead duck, as dead a duck as you can possibly imagine. So if neither of these two things is immediately realistic, why should we go around campaigning for the one which is less than the one that we want? Yes. When Mandela was freed from the dungeons of the white settler state in South Africa after 27 years, the white settlers begged him, please, can we have just one little part of South Africa, the Orange Free State? Can we have that as a white country? And Mandela answered, we don't believe in black countries or white countries. We only believe in democratic countries where every person is equal, observant, and everyone's rights are respected. When I raised this in the United Nations last week, they obviously didn't know in the United Nations how dangerous a person I was. The Palestinian ambassador rebuked me. He said, it's the duty of those in solidarity with us to support our policy. If we change our policy, we'll let you know. I told him I am not a Khwaja in this. I gave 35 years of my life in this. Don't tell me I don't have the right to say what I believe, especially as what I'm saying now is what you used to say. You resigned because of Oslo from the PLO, because you believe what I'm now saying. I believe that this question of the right of return for all the refugees, after all, most of the Palestinians don't live in the West Bank and Gaza. Those that do live in the West Bank and Gaza, many of them, most of them in Gaza, don't come from Gaza. The whole point of the PLO was that it was supposed to represent the interests of all the Palestinians, inside and outside. We rejected the idea that there can be an internal settlement. You remember Duadin and these village leagues and all these traitors that they tried to bring. Arafat said, we have one address. The Palestinian people has one address. And that address is me. If you want to speak to our people, you have to speak to me. You have to recognize me and the PLO. We have to revive the PLO. The PLO is the sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people, not Mahmoud Abbas. He's elected only by a small minority of the Palestinian people. As a matter of fact, his presidential term has already run out. He's no more the president in any case. They told me Ismail Haniyeh is no longer the prime minister. Actually, he was elected as the prime minister. He was illegally removed, and the people who illegally removed him are now sitting on their chairs without any authority, lawful constitutional authority at all. So we have to insist on the right of return. I believe we must say that if there's a two-state solution, those conditions I outlined, including the right of return, are the only conditions on which such a state could be acceptable. But far, far better is if we have one country from the river to the sea. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Don't you think this idea of a convoy with stars and stripes is a good one?
Yeah.